Hey everyone, welcome aboard. Today we're going to do something a little different and kind of special. Um, you all know that CDs get manufactured in pressing plants, perhaps, where you've got this big assembly line and these CDs are going ba-jing, ba-jing, ba-jing. And eventually then they get put into cases with, booklets and artwork and all that stuff. So you get this nice package that you can read through afterward, wherever you read through things. I mean, we all got our own places where we do our reading, I guess. So, what we thought we would do is we would make the absolute first CD, number one. So we got these boxes of CDs shipped, and the album isn't released yet, of course, but once it gets released, it will be out in the stores and all that stuff. But in the meantime, we put out a call to make it available because we didn't press 10 million of them. So we don't know how well or how poorly these will sell. We hope they do well because it's a rather special release, which I'll tell you about here shortly. But we made it available so people could pre-order, and all of you who ordered the CD in advance, you're guaranteed a copy, regardless of if they go to the stores and all sell out and then they're all gone. Then you wouldn't be able to get one. But everyone who pre-ordered one is guaranteed to get a copy. We'll ship that out to you. We'll mail that out to you. So what we've done is all those people who pre-ordered, their names are little slips of paper in a hat, and I'm going to draw the name of that person out of the hat, and they will win the absolute first copy of this album to come out of any of the boxes. This is box number one, CD number one, the absolute first CD to ever come out of the shipping boxes. So you will have literally, CD 001 or whatever. And you might want to keep that as a keepsake. I don't know. I'm not saying it's going to be worth any money in the future or anything like that, but maybe for sentimental value. I don't know. You may want to keep that. So, in other words, you don't want to break the seal. You don't want to break the cellophane on it. So for whoever wins that as well, a second CD will go to you that you can tear open and play in your pick-em-up truck or wherever you listen to your music, and you can keep the first one if you want, just unbroken, and just keep it as a special thing. We're also going to draw another CD. Several other people have submitted their name for a free CD. So they didn't pre-order, but they wanted to be considered to possibly win a CD. So we're going to give away another CD aside from that. So the person who gets the first CD will also get a second CD to play, and somebody else, some other lucky viewer or listener, will win a free copy of the CD. So let me just, before I get things going here, I'm going to tell you a little bit about this whole thing. Back in the 90s, 93, 94, up to 95, I had put together a group called Pressure Drop, and we had lots of great times down at the Loft. I remember a lot of you might remember the shows down at the Loft, Haymarket Square, and lots of other places too. And of course, we did live appearances on Much Music and toured around, and I produced a couple of albums for the group, the original one, the self-titled one, and then From the Inside Out, the second one. And it was right around the time, just before the second album, that we were in Toronto shooting for a national TV show called Ear to the Ground, that I had an accident and smashed my knee, basically. This knee right here, my right knee. I don't know if you can see that, but and I was told that I may not be able to walk again, let alone ever play the drums again, and it was a real hard time. And I went through months and months of rehabilitation, physiotherapy, and I fought hard and came back. And during that whole period of time, one song that I wrote that's on the second album that I wrote when I was still in a wheelchair and unable to walk, not knowing if I could ever walk again, there was a song on there that I wrote called Riding High, which is kind of, I don't know, the whole idea of just when you think you're on top and everything's going so well, you never know what life's going to deal you. So it's up to you at that point, I guess, to get on your horse and fight back, because it's really easy to give up and harder to, I guess, take the bull by the horns and do your thing. And I just didn't see any other choice because I had stuff to do. And the whole time while I was doing all that physiotherapy and unable to move, I couldn't walk, I couldn't do anything. That whole time, that whole album was gestating in my mind. You know, every horn part, every bass line, the lyrics, the songs, the harmonies, all that stuff. And so we did that album, and during that whole time period, we did end up doing Ear to the Ground after they flew a crew down to Newfoundland here, or up to Newfoundland, perhaps we should say more correctly. And we did shoot Ear to the Ground, and that was when the band was at its absolute peak best. We were tight. Most of that album, unlike the first album, quite a bit like the first album. All the bed tracks, like myself and Fred laid down the drums and bass first, and then we just did the other stuff. So it was a real organic type thing, but the whole everything that had happened kind of all came to a crunch. Several things happened. It's not a good story. So we're here for good purposes here today. I won't tell that whole story because there's a lot of negativity in it and things like that. And we're here for happy purposes today. But the long and the short of it is no more Pressure Drop. And at the time, I was downtown doing sound for a lot of the groups around downtown, like Shillelagh Law, a bunch of others, including a young, great bunch of kids called the Celtic Connection. I was doing sound for them, and one of the things that I was really impressing, even from the time that I was producing the Great Big Sea, the first album, working with them on that, and also with the Masterless Men, who they came to be known as, and they were called Canon at the time, was the whole idea. Well, one thing that was really important to me was the bass. The fact that a lot of our music around here was kind of cut off at the waist. There was nothing below it. There was no low frequencies, no that warm, rich thing that fills out the bottom. So you had all the guitars up around here, and the mandolins and banjos up around here, and fiddles up around here, and then the vocals there. And from about here down, there was like nothing. The bass at the time, a lot of you might remember going out and hearing music at the time, or even buying records at the time. The bass was like that kind of thing. Where coming from reggae, for myself, loving reggae, the bass was, you had that whole thing going on. And so it's not a matter of style of music, it's a matter of music, the whole music itself. I mean, if you got a nice set of speakers and you want to put on some Newfoundland music, some music that's, what we call trad or whatever we want to call it, and all your other records that you buy sound great, and your big speakers are just like, yeah, that sounds great. Then you put on the Newfoundland record and it sounds like it's coming out of a little speaker, the size of that, and then all your other music that's coming from Toronto or New York or London or wherever, is like that, but it's all because of the bottom end. So that was a big thing. I worked with a lot of several different bass players and encouraged them to, for example, cut down the treble on the high end of the, turn the knobs on their bass amp so their bass sounded nice and big and warm. And there was also other little things like a little, EQ on vocals. I know this is all technical stuff, but it's important really because this leads into where this is all going. Just so bands, you would go see a band and there would be feedback in the middle of the songs. They sounded like they were singing into a box. It was hard to understand what they were saying. The instruments, the banjos and mandolins all sounded tinny. There was no low end on the bass. The guitar sounded woofy. So I was doing sound, live sound for a lot of people at that time. And we'd go in, imagine this now, we would go in the afternoon before the gig that night and do a full sound check. And I would mix the band so that they sounded like great, the way you would want to hear them on a big stereo or a CD or, whatever. And then come that night, people would come and so many people were just all talking about it, like the Celtic Connection, for example. They sound incredible. Well, they sounded incredible. And it wasn't because of me, it was because of them and their playing. But because of me, people could actually hear them. And when Barry was playing the bass, they could actually feel the bass in their chest. And when they were out dancing, instead of ding-ding-a-ling, ding-a-ling, ling-a-ling, they had the full spectrum of the sound in those big speakers, the big PA speakers. They were out on the dance floor. And music isn't just to be heard, it's to be felt as well. And they could feel it. And so right away, the Celtic Connection shows, along with the other ones, the other people that I was helping out at the time with the sound, their shows elevated like tenfold, just by not having terrible sound. We've all experienced bad sound, like I said, feedback, and everyone, they're singing and they sound like that, terrible stuff. So it was around that time. I produced an album for the Celtic Connection, having already, the Great Big Sea thing was behind. The Masterless Men album, I ended up producing that complete album. The Great Big Sea, I did some work on that, but the Masterless Men completely produced that, and it was all about just clarity and good sound and not being fancy pants. As some people thought at the time that what I was talking about was being fancy pants, but it wasn't. It was just clarity, warmth, natural. So I used to say to people at the time, a banjo should sound like a banjo. A mandolin should sound like a mandolin. A guitar should sound like a guitar. And so that was the premise for all of that. And I was working on the Celtic Connection album at the time. And during that time, doing mostly a lot of work with, and they were great to work with, by the way. That was a really nice experience. I really enjoyed working with them. In fact, I produced records for a lot of other people as well. And there's not one of them that I would take back. I'm glad. I feel blessed that I had the opportunity to work with all those people at that time. And so I was working on the Celtic Connection album and doing that, and then Pressure Drop blew up. No more Pressure Drop. A group that I had named and formed and invited everybody in and produced 2 records, a lot of work, and suffered the whole knee thing. But I was back on my feet, I was walking again, everything was okay. And it was at that time, the Celtic Connection was a real savior because I was doing what I loved to do. I was making music, I was producing and arranging music, I was helping these great kids. They were great kids too. And working on did a lot of work with Scotty Graham at the time, just helping him with his confidence and with all the ornamentations, the melodic lines. If you listen to the album Calvert's Dream, their debut album. And all the arrangements, all those little melodies that happen in behind, you got the vocals, you got the basic bed, instruments, the bass and the rhythm guitars. But then you got all those other little melodies and counter melodies. And he was an absolute joy to work with on all of that too. So if you're out there, Scott, thanks again for all your patience with me going through all that stuff. But it was around that time, 1995, I was without Pressure Drop, and having spent a lot of time downtown in the pubs, doing sound for people, playing in the pubs myself solo, like since the 80s, aside from, PTR and Pressure Drop and all that other stuff. And I also played, of course, with a lot of other people as well, different groups and things. At one point, I think I was playing with 5 or 6 different groups, at the same time. But that's when I got the idea in my head of the Gypsy album. And to make a long story short, that was my first solo album. And it was part of that whole process of talking to people downtown and trying to, encourage them to not sound tinny and bad. There's nothing inherent about, Newfoundlanders making music should sound tinny or bad. We should sound just as good as any of the best recordings you get from Ireland or from Paris or anywhere else, really. And so it was all many pints, many discussions about technical things and musical things and all that stuff. And when I got the idea Gypsy in my mind, it was this whole idea Gypsy. Well, the reason why I named it Gypsy was because my whole family going way back, and myself, since being born and then weeks later being brought somewhere else, and then just a few years later being brought somewhere else, and growing up in Rabbit Town, and then out in what they now call CBS, but to me it was just Greenslades Road at the time, Long Pond, and then losing my sight, going to basically a boarding school, or a school with a residence in Halifax, a school for the blind, and living and eating and everything with like hundreds of people under the same roof every day. And then, of course, back here to Rabbit Town, to Newtown Road, and just on and on. It's like I had no place to call my home, no one place. Kind of, I guess, whatever, Gypsy, that whole idea, traveling all the time, moving. And that came to me one time visiting. We were over in St. Pierre. I think I was playing over there at a little place called the Rustic, or the Rustic. And my good friend Thierry Arthur, him and I were playing and spending a lot of time after the shows and just talking about everything and music. And after that week in St. Pierre, I came home, and on the way home I said to Lillian, I got it, because he helped me so much with the clarity of it. I said, it's Gypsy. I know what it is. It's Gypsy. She said, oh, almost like, what's Gypsy? Yeah, the album, this thing. And at the time I only had like two little demos, I think, 2 little instrumental demos, and then a third one that never made it on the album. Which, by the way, is on this double CD that we're here talking about today, as a bonus track. But anyway, literally from the time that we came back from St. Pierre with 2 little instrumental demos till the time that I sent it off to Toronto to be mastered, professionally mastered and pressed, was a period of about 3 weeks. It was just that quick. As soon as I knew what it was, it happened. And during those 3 weeks, about halfway through, I discovered this little thing, because I didn't like the sound of what I was doing. And part of this whole thing, like I said, was this whole idea, like just pointing the mic at something and just twang, and that's it. I really wanted things to sound good. I wanted to, I guess, put my money where my mouth was. Or I could, I was talking the talk and people roll their eyes at me and all that. Yeah, well, what do you mean we should sound good and all that? And so I really felt compelled to show them what I was talking about. So that's the Gypsy album. But halfway through it, I didn't like the sound of some of the songs, Rhythm of the Goat being one of them, because it's not in a major key or a minor key. And I'd heard about this thing called Dadgad, where you open tune the guitar to D-A-D, G-A-D. And I just did that. I put the capo on up so it was in the key of A where it needed to be. And as soon as I started strumming it, right away I knew, okay, this is it. It captured the spirit of what I was talking about with that song, Rhythm of the Goat, which is actually about the boron. But that's a whole story for another day. And during the process of making that album, within like a 3-week period, pretty much by myself with a few exceptions, and I big tip of the hat to Mark and to Patrick and very few people actually that guested on that album. It was pretty much, I don't know, people keep bugging me about playing 15 different albums, 15 different instruments on that album or whatever, but that wasn't my point. That seemed to be a big point. My major point about it was the sound and just the sincerity of the music. The songs on there are all like firsthand. Like Rhythm of the Goat is actually about primarily it was about a night down at the Blarney Stone where Blackie O'Leary was playing, and that's and there was another little person in there that represented the girl in the song. Downtown Girl was written first-hand experience. Just all the loss of the fishery, we had just gone through that. So all the songs on that album are real, like everyday life experiences. They're not just me sort of writing poetry or anything like that. Not to say there's anything wrong with writing poetry, but they were just very heartfelt, very straightforward, first-hand experience songs as a person living in Newfoundland at that time, and just sort of doing my best to sort of take the taste of the air and paint that into the music and kind of take a snapshot of this place at that time. And when it was all done, I was happy enough with it to send it off to be mastered. And that album did a lot of good. It went all around the world. It won Album of the Year, Independent Album of the Year awards, and got a nomination for Song of the Year. I ended up signing an international record deal with it. It brought me to the Princess of Wales Theatre in Toronto and the Royal Alex Theatre with the Mirvish Productions Need Fire. That's a whole other experience that I had, a wonderful experience. So that was Gypsy. And this album that we're here talking about today, this double CD, which is actually, if it were on vinyl, a lot of people suggested, why don't you put it out on vinyl? Well, it would probably be like four. It would have been like 4 LPs, something like that. And we just don't have the. It's just too big a deal. Yeah. So the double CD, we decided on that and go all in first class on a double CD, and that's what we did. But so there's the Gypsy part, and then in 2000, when I was at the Need Fire in Toronto, becoming really good friends with Mary Jane Lamond, or Lamond, as some people say, and the pipers from the Mudmen, the Campbell brothers, Rob and Sandy Campbell, and Patricia, one of the dancers, and Eamon Dillon, who I subsequently produced an album for. And it was just an amazing experience. And that Friendly Fire album was made during that time and featured those people, as well as Freddie Jorgensen, played on that album as well. And Thierry Arthur, my friend I mentioned earlier, he's on there, and Lekbir Halali, a whole bunch of people, a lot of people, too many, you know. So Gypsy was almost on my own. Friendly Fire was like, it was my friends and the Need Fire, and it was really almost like an Alan Parsons project in a way. It wasn't just me playing 15 instruments by myself. I don't know how many instruments I played on that album, but a lot of other people played instruments too. And that was really the great thing at that time for me to have that album, you know, as something to look back on in the future and remember all those good times at the Need Fire in Toronto, and all the dancers and the people doing the scrims and the carpenters and the electricians and everybody, like the young dancers, everybody. It was just such a team effort. I was a cog in a machine, even though I was like one of the stars of the show and all that stuff. And, you know, working with people like Denny Doherty from the Mamas and Papas, who the Mamas and Papas, wow, you know. What an honor it was to be, you know, after the show, sitting around having chats and becoming friends with Denny. That was great. But everybody in the show, like I said, the dancers, the players of instruments, the singers, I was a cog in a machine, and I had my part to do. And it was literally the most special time in my life, because I was part of a team, and that whole thing, it was amazing. So that's the fire part. So we got the gypsy part, we got the fire part, and then in 2005, when we had just started, we were all at the same time, we were starting up the Newfoundland's first podcast, Republic of Avalon Radio, and organizing a festival called the Atlantic Crossroads Festival, an international festival. We didn't know how long it would last or where it would go, but we did it anyway. Nearly lost our house in the process, but it ended up being an exchange between a bunch of people here and a bunch of people in Ireland. We went over there, they came over here. We had a gala at the Arts and Culture Centre. We had a lot of great people from both sides, and everybody. It turned out, I think there's not a single one of anybody who was involved with that to this day who doesn't look back with fond memories of that whole experience. It was great. And I mean, we had Ron Hines and Pamela Morgan and Hugh Scott, Colleen Power, Daryl Power, myself. I don't think I forgot anybody. And a bunch of people from the Irish side. And so it was all at the same time as we were doing this Republic of Avalon Radio, which we've been doing for a while at that point. And the Atlantic Crossroads Festival, going over to Ireland, coming back over here, having a big festival downtown and a gala at the Arts and Culture Centre, that I made the Midnight Rover album, and did something I had never done before. Did a couple of covers on that. Everything else, and pretty much everything since, has been all original, but did a couple of covers out there. One of the covers that I did was a song written by one of the people from Ireland that was involved with the Atlantic Fest, Ger Wolfe from Cork. And actually Colleen Power and Daryl Power sang on that with me on that album. So the whole thing, Midnight Gypsy Fire, it's called that because I don't think Gypsy Midnight Fire or Fire Gypsy Midnight wouldn't have worked so well. So those three albums from 1995 to 2005, that whole decade, those three albums, Midnight Rover from 2000, Gypsy from 1995, and Midnight Rover from 2005, Friendly Fire from 2000. So that's where we get the Midnight Gypsy Fire. It's a double CD, and the lovely Miss Lillian Fidler, who's my video person. Say hello.
Hello.
who's very patiently shooting me as I babble. But I thought some of you guys might be interested in something a little more than just me like pulling a strip of paper out of a hat and saying goodbye. I just thought I'd give you a little background on this whole thing. Speaking of which, I think that's pretty much the background. Midnight Gypsy Fire, double CD, 1995 to 2000, all remastered. So some of the analog goodness that wasn't there because of early digital, the early years of digital recording. This is all remastered, and it's much warmer. It's nicer. I think you guys will like it. And for anyone who has any technical knowledge, don't worry. I didn't do the loudness wars thing on it. It's not everything isn't -6 RMS or anything like that. It's just warm. I think you guys will like it. I certainly hope you do. But in the meantime, I think it's time to get this first CD. I'm gonna get my handy little multi-tool here. Whip out that little knife. And this is the box that Lillian pulled off the top. I'm going to actually open this up. What's the best way to do this? I think I'll get in here. And there we go. There's that much. Do the same thing on the other side. Let's try this. There we go. And now, the best part is, oh, there's an overlap here. What the heck? There we go.
So exciting.
Okay. And we haven't even,
we haven't seen it yet.
No, in case you guys are wondering, we have not opened any of these boxes. We hope that these are actually the right ones. I mean, this could be, I don't know, Susie and the Hobgoblins for all we know. That has happened in the past.
It has.
People get sent the wrong. Oh, there's a box in a box. It's a Russian doll, folks.
Or you can leave that one in there and just open it.
I'm gonna need the knife again. Here I go. Getting the knife. Okay, so maybe some of you who actually pre-ordered the CD might be starting to get excited by now. Hopefully you are. Where's the friggin' knife?
I'm getting excited.
She's getting excited, folks. Okay, so let me turn this sideways. It's going to be hard. Let's see.
Here it is coming up.
Oh, hold on. I'm going to have to get over here. And very safely. See, here's a little tip for you guys. Don't just use a knife and then lay it aside. Close it back up, put it over there. No blood.
Okay.
Okay, here it comes, folks.
So now you got to draw the name.
I'm gonna pull out CD. Okay. Can everybody see? Can you see?
I can. Yeah.
So, facing me, this one here is gonna be like number 1, right? I'm gonna reach. If I can reach in there. Hang on. There we go. I got it.
Oh my goodness.
This is CD number 1.
Wow.
This is the first CD ever. I'm gonna toss this down there. Now, how does it go? Let me hold it up and let people see it.
Turn it to the other way. Yeah, that's it.
And that's the front?
Yes.
Okay, just
bring it down a little bit. Okay.
Can you all see that? Isn't it a thing of beauty? Now, who does this belong to is the question.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to draw a name out of a hat. Hi. Oh, did it fall out?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. I'm going to draw a name out of my hat.
Be careful. Okay.
This is my hat, and there are a bunch of little slips of paper in here. I'm going to shuffle them all around. Shuffle them all around. Hi-ho, the dairy-o. Shuffle them all around. And you might be wondering, well, how am I going to know? I'm going to draw one out. Here I go. Let me feel around and see if there might be one that seems to want to come out ahead of the others. That one seems, he's there. Okay. All right. I've got one. Now what I'm going to do is these glasses that you might be wondering, what's with the shades, man? I'm going to get my glasses to read the name on this little piece of slip of paper here that I just drew out. So I'm going to say, hey Meta, read this piece of paper for me. Okay.
I know who that is.
Okay, I think it's Denis Fouchard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Woohoo!
Let me verify this. Let me handle in just to double check and make sure.
Denis Fouchard, yes.
Yes.
And Denis is from Saint Pierre, and
Denis Fouchard
Yeah.
de Saint-Pierre-et-Miquelon.
yes, congratulations.
Félicitations, mon ami.
I'll just put it up in front of the camera
So
people
Denis
can see.
Fouchard, let's see, this CD this is your CD, number 1, and I'm going to, let's see, we're also going to send you another CD, so if you keep this one and don't open it, ça ne touche pas, and l'autre est pour écoutons. The other one's for listening. You can listen to the other one, but you can keep this one if you want, and just keep it in your hope chest or in your wherever you keep things that you want to keep for years and all that stuff for souvenir and all that. So there's Denny. Now we've got another CD we're going to draw for. Now, this one here. That's Denny's CD. I'm going to put right next to this actual boron, which is the one that I made with my brother Phil back. This is actually what was played on Gypsy. It was something that we made from an old piece of a snare drum that we sawed through and just got that much and got a bit of goat skin and did the thing with that. So this is actually the drum and this little bit of hide here. This is what we actually used on Gypsy. I didn't have a boron at the time, so we made one. So big thanks to my brother Phil for that one. So I'm gonna put this number 1 first CD of Midnight Gypsy Fire inside the drum that was actually used on Rhythm of the Goat on this album.
Perfect.
For Denis. And I'm going to draw another.
Now you gotta pass me your hat and
But
I'll put the new names.
We've got a list of other people who didn't pre-order the CD, but they wanted to go in for their name to be drawn to win a CD. So we're going to do that.
Hand me your hat.
But we're going to keep the names, except for Denis.
Yeah.
He's already getting 2 CDs. That's enough for him.
Yeah, we left him out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to get Lily to add the other names
All right.
into the hat. So these will be all the people who, and she's shaking it up.
Okay. There we go.
Sorry if there's a bit of camera jitter or anything like that, but okay. So
This is reality TV.
Yeah, everybody who pre-ordered the CD, plus did one fall out?
No.
Okay, I was going to say if one fell out, then that would be the one. This is. We figured it's only fair for the people who pre-ordered the CD. Why should they be disqualified for possibly winning a free CD? So their names are all still in here. Plus, we've added all the names of. Did one fall out then?
No.
All the names of.
Don't keep doing that, though.
All the names of everybody else who put in for the draw to win a free CD. It's not the first one. It's going to be the third one because Denis is getting the first one plus the second one, and by the way, you'll know which one is which because we're gonna actually break the seal on the second one, and I'm gonna sign it for you, Didi. So I will sign that, and you'll know that that's number 2. The one that I signed is the second CD to come out of the boxes. The first one is gonna be still with the plastic, and so you can keep it if you want. All right, I'm gonna draw a name out of here. See if my glasses help me. So he's not just trying to be cool wearing them shades, folks. Them shades actually do something for me. I can actually. I'm not clear on this one. Let's try it. Okay, the writing's not on that side.
No.
Okay, I got it right. Hey, Minna, read this piece of paper for me. Taryn Stone.
Wow.
All right. And I'll hand that to you to verify that. Make sure
Okay.
that is, she's not, my glasses aren't hallucinating.
That is correct.
All right. Taryn, let me take out disc number 2 out of the box. And I'm literally taking it from the next spot. And I am going to toss the hat over here for now. And I'm going to actually break the seal on this one because this is Didi's disc, the second one. Do I need that knife again? Good Lord. Let me see. Can I get this with my fingernails?
This is our first
Yep.
2-disc.
This is number 2 here
Package.
for Didi. This is the one that I'll sign for you. And also, Lily, could maybe I could just open it up and let you all see.
Yeah, you do that.
Okay, how does this go?
Okay, now, turn it up. Point it to, keep going.
Keep going what?
Just hold it up. No, now turn it left. Yeah, there you go. And now hold it up like that.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the inside, and then there's the 2 discs, and there's a booklet there. Can you,
Where's the booklet?
the booklet is over to your right there.
Okay. And that's a beautiful full color, nice and silky paper. Nice. Top drawer, folks. We didn't scrimp on this at all. I mean, we went all the way because this is something maybe I didn't mention before. Midnight Gypsy Fire. This is 2025. We just acknowledged the 30th anniversary of Gypsy, the 25th anniversary of Friendly Fire, and the 20th anniversary of Midnight Rover. So all those 3 albums in 2025 turned 20 years old, 25 years old, and 30 years old. So this is a celebration, not just of Gypsy, but of all 3 of those albums. Double CD, as you can see. Let me put this over here for Didi. And I will take disc number 3 out for Taryn. And this will be your CD. And I'm not going to put it over there. It won't get mixed up. And I'm not going to open it or anything, Taryn, unless you want me to. But this is Taryn Stone, who, by the way, is my cousin. Yes, folks, believe it or not, I have more than one cousin, more than one female cousin. And Taryn is a cousin of mine who's accomplished a lot of great stuff as well, including being a captain, qualified. I'm not sure exactly what her qualifications are, but our uncle, or my great uncle, Captain Harry Stone, well, Taryn Stone, that's where the stone comes from. He was the harbor master of St. John's for 19 years, I believe. And I used to be with him and hear the guys on the radio talking, ships coming in through the Narrows, and that whole experience growing up, going with Uncle Harry down to the waterfront, him being the harbor master and all that stuff, that influenced me, and I'm sure that influenced Taryn as well. And so whatever that exact title is, ship's captain or whatever it is. She's actually qualified for that, and I'm sure everybody was proud of her mom and dad. And I guess the last thing, so congratulations to Taryn, and congratulations Denis, and encore une fois, félicitations. And also, just big thanks to everybody. The last thing I would like to mention is, I did mention before that among other people playing on the Friendly Fire album, Freddie Jorgensen played on there. And we have heard that he's right now fighting a serious health issue. I won't get into the details because I haven't heard any, haven't read any official diagnoses or anything like that, so we don't know exactly what it is. But he's going through a rough time. If anybody can pray for him, if anybody knows him, or even if you don't know him, if you can somehow reach out to him and encourage him, and of course all you around him, his family and friends that are helping him right now, our prayers go out to you as well. And if you don't believe in prayer, pray anyway. It won't hurt, right? So our prayers go out to Freddie, and we hope that he can kick this, and maybe even play whistle on with me again at some point in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, thanks again to everybody for tuning in. And sorry if this isn't exactly high production and the audio might not be great. And because I know my banjo's vibrating over there. Yo! Hear my banjo? Nope! Banjo's echoing away, or it's like reverb. Banjo reverb. Hey, maybe I should use that at some point as an impulse response or something. Anyway, thanks to everybody.
Thank you.
God bless. Congratulations to Taryn and to Denis. And in terms of the release of the album, when we're going to release it and how we're going to release it and when it's going to be in the stores, stay tuned. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Fidlerville. And as well, of course, just send us an email if you just want us to keep in touch with you through email. Follow me, Jim Fidler, on Facebook, and Twitter, or X, under @Rootseller, ROOTSCELLAR, and we'll keep you all up to date. And let's get the stuff going here, folks. Just because we're in our 60s here now, believe it or not. That 20 years, 25 years, 30 years for these 3 albums, I ain't done yet. So let's get all and for yourself, not just me, for you out there, whatever book you want to write, painting you want to paint, business you want to start, album you want to make, do it. Forget about whatever in the world is worrying you and keeping you back. Get off your arse and do it, because if you don't do nothing, you won't get nothing done. Don't think that you're immune. It's the same for everyone. God bless everybody.
A Rootseller production.